antioxidant-rich drink. You know, we've been so fooled by all of this marketing that I know of some non-drinkers who've started drinking because they want a healthy heart. And they're all drinking wine. Okay, so wine doesn't give you a healthy heart. There was all the peer review research that was carried out on wine and all of its heart healthy benefits has now been proved to be doctored. Okay, it was all doctored, and there's a huge case going on in the US. You can check that out. So this has been doctored research. The doctor who tells you wine is healthy for the heart, the same doctor says peanuts mat khao. Have you experienced this? Shengdane no. Why? Cholesterol. Konkan ka kaju? No. Why? Cholesterol. Concept of, almonds and not kaju. I'm saying there's nutritionism everywhere. Do your bit to really prevent that. Peanuts have resveratrol. What's resveratrol? The heart healthy ingredient for which they marketed wine. But the people who tell you to drink wine are the same people who tell you not to eat peanuts. So look for consistency in advice. Okay, patronize people who have consistent advice. Okay, any more? Yeah, okay, yes.
Weight loss tip of the day.
Weight loss tip of the day. Don't drink tea on an empty stomach and move more. Okay? You know how much exercise is required to stay thin? 150 minutes per week. So, you think you can put 150 minutes per week into exercise? Huh? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So now, next week you'll be saying, अरे उसने 10 बार पूछा yes, मैंने तो yes बोल दिया, ये हुआ ही नहीं. अभी अगले week से. In 2011, I was in China. I was there. I was invited for the Indo-China Yoga Summit. And out there, I had, seriously, the great fortune of studying under B.K. Iyengar, who's probably, amongst the most respected living yoga guru at this point of time. And he's been practicing yoga every single day, which is like his asanas, every single day, from the age of 7. And I think today he's 93 or 94. So when he was talking, he said, every morning when I wake up, and he hasn't missed a day of practice, and he practices at least 3 hours every day. So he said, every morning when I wake up, my mind says, not today, I'll do asanas tomorrow. And that's when mere ko chamka that for this man at 93, after doing asanas every single day, if his mind can tell him, not today, tomorrow, then we are all really lesser mortals. So we have to really know when to listen and when to discipline and say, okay, I have no problem, you want to do it tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow also, but today we'll do it nevertheless. So my weight loss tip of the day, move more, because I think you all gave me the maximum resistance for moving, okay? And you all have maximum resistance for even putting the hand up, for saying yes, no, nothing. You just laugh. Okay, that's the next question. Yeah.
One more question to you. To ask you one exercise to flatten the stomach. And we are so much used to taking tea in the morning. How to get rid of it? डोळे सुकड़त नाही.
Coma मध्ये उठा. So you wake up and start with the food. That's the best thing to do. After I go, don't lose your mind, lose your weight. Every single day I get emails and people on Facebook and Twitter who say, for the last 35 years I was only waking up to a tea or coffee. After your book, I've changed my habit. I wake up to a banana. I don't feel like looking at tea and coffee now. Do you remember the time that you were waking up without tea and coffee? Yeah, so it's possible, right? It's just a matter of disciplining yourself, and without self-discipline, nothing's going to happen. Does everyone want to ask me the one magic exercise for the stomach?
Yes.
See? You're all lazy. That's the first thing I want to say to you. The second thing I want to say to you is that there is no magic exercise. Like man was talking about here that, yoga is something that you do for 24 hours a day. Even something very, very frivolous and way smaller than yoga, which is how can I have a flat stomach, is requires 24-hour practice. It's about how you wake up, how you sleep, what you eat, how you respond to what's being said to you, whether or not you whether or not you eat while you're watching television, whether or not you eat while you're talking on the phone. Those are the things which will really affect the bulge that you carry on your stomach. So hear it from me. I'm writing my third book, which is going to be on exercise, and one of the things that I'm writing about is exactly this, that there is no magic pill for getting a flat stomach. It requires constant effort, but eating right takes you a long way. So you have to eat right. Now, you all know that what takes part in exercise? Muscle or fat? Huh? Who has the ability to contract muscle? Can fat contract? It just flops down with gravity. For all those of you who've been believing that crunches is a great way to get a flat stomach, when you crunch, what is involved?
Muscles.
Yeah, the rectus abdominis. You sound very non-layman-like. Ha ha ha. Yeah? And what happens to the fat on top of the stomach? Can it involve itself in the crunch? It goes for a joyride. And it's telling you, soon, I don't even belong to the stomach. This muscle is attached. It originates from under the ribs and it inserts itself into the pelvic girdle. But you know what? I'm not coming out of under the pelvic girdle. I'm not inserting myself inside the pelvic girdle. Nor do I begin or origin from your chest cavity. But no problem, you want to take me for a joyride, I'm going with you. And when you enter the office, I'm going to go. So I've just been moving too much. I've destroyed more muscle than I can ever make. So now my fat is sagging down all the more. So people in office are, "Kya pregnant hai kya?" Oh God, I've exercised it. She thinks I'm pregnant. Okay. So crunches surely don't work. Moving around more works, yes. Why would you want to increase rate of metabolism? What is metabolism made of? Why we can simplify everything? Increase rate of metabolism. Why? Because वो fat metabolism बढ़ेगा उसके से. Okay. Metabolism. There are two processes which contribute to metabolism: anabolism and catabolism. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah. What's anabolism? Banao, building. Catabolism is about breakdown. Till the age of 25, whatever you eat, you don't seem to gain weight. Yeah? And after 25, whatever you eat, you seem to be like, when you're 40 and you walk from your college, ka khatta or whatever you say, पहले हम लोग 2-3 बड़ा पाव खाते थे. अभी मैं पास भी जाएगा ना मेरे को कल सुबह प्रॉब्लम है. So why does that happen? That happens because what is contributing to our metabolism changes. So before 25, we are anabolism dominated. We're making more bone tissue, more muscle tissue, new cell growth, new everything, blah, blah, blah. After 25, we're breaking down every single thing. At 30, you ask someone, "Arey, तुम्हारे wife का mobile number क्या है?" मालूम नहीं. कौन सा number याद है? 100. Well, that's the only number that we seem to remember. So, catabolism, breaking down of the cells, of the memory, of the muscle tissue, of bone tissue, everything. Yoga seems to have the answer. There are exercises that you can do which will keep you in a more anabolism dominant state. And it's exactly this state which will help you accelerate fat burning. Anything which helps you preserve bone tissue, anything that helps you preserve muscle tissue will help you burn fat. So actually the only way to have a flat stomach is to have a denser spine and stronger muscles. Okay?
Hello?
Yes, yes.
For protein intake, we should depend more pulses and grains or others?
What others?
Others
Chicken,
means-
biryani, tikka, tandoori.
That's another non-veg.
It's the same thing again. It's one thing to believe that, I should eat more meat because it has more X grams of protein. 100 grams of a chicken breast will give me 20 grams of protein. As opposed to a katori of dal will give me 2 grams of protein. So I am often tempted, or that's what the schools taught me. That's also what nutrition schools teach us, that Chicken therefore becomes protein rich. Dal becomes protein poor. Okay? But what about the absorption and assimilation? What about what is also called as the BD or the biological value? When you eat anything which doesn't have adequate amount of fiber, then you're not able to absorb much out of the food. I think one of the major mistakes that we have made as Indians, because we really belong to a society which has rich culture of eating right. We've really destroyed it. And one of the things that we have reduced our food to is protein, carbohydrate and fat. Indian food cannot be distributed as protein, carbohydrate and fat. So when you eat poha, which may just have some singdana and otherwise it has these rice flakes, it has the tadka and the mori and the haldi and curry leaves, you can absorb a lot of amino acids. You can also absorb a lot of amino acids from khichdi. That's exactly why Kashmir to Kanyakumari, anyone falls sick, what do you get? Dal khichdi. Okay? So, should you avoid non-vegetarian food? You just simply need to regulate non-vegetarian food. You don't need to go out of your way to put protein in your food. What you need to know is that as long as you're eating what is in season and what is local and eating sensibly, which means that you have reduced the intake of processed food, chips and biscuits and pastries, your body will be in a position to absorb and assimilate all of the amino acids. I'm just coming back from, I was in UK last month. I was there because we had a conference on what are the latest techniques that athletes use for London Olympics 2012. What is it that we can learn from them as nutritionists? And what are the strategies that they will be adopting for 2016? One of the strategies is eat lesser meat. US has adopted an initiative called Meatless Mondays. You know what the Meatless Monday? Monday ko aaj mata somwar hai. Okay, that's their Meatless Monday initiative. The Swiss Olympic Association doesn't serve meat in the evening because they've now figured that for optimum performance and for ensuring that athletes have a long career, you need a diet which may have meat because they are ultimately a meat-eating culture, but meat cannot be the meal. There has to be rice, there has to be vegetables, there has to be other things, and then meat can be a small product of it. Okay, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes.
That sprouted means monks and that and not particularly means non-veg, meat and only veg from veg that and.
Yeah, veg you can eat dahi, chas, sprouts. But then again, these are just protein sources that we learned about in school. There are scientists who even try and isolate amino acids from potato and from corn. So actually there are amino acids everywhere. It's just about eating better.
Allow me to one last question.
One question which is troubling is why not tea in the morning?
Yeah. How about me saying go read the book? Because that will have, that will give you a detailed answer. I'll tell you very quickly. I don't want to keep you from tea time. When you start driving a car or when you put a child to school thinking that I need to eventually finish graduation, you straight put them to graduation, you go from junior KG. When you start a car, and because you're in a rush, do you straight go to gear 3, gear 4, gear 5, or you still start from neutral and then go first gear and then move and then you go second gear? You don't start your day with tea or coffee because A, it's dehydrating, B, it is something which kicks, almost gives you a kick in terms of your neurotransmitters, and also because it increases the heart rate. When you wake up with a heart rate which is not very high, but when you're angry, when you're upset and all of that, the heart rate is high. So it increases the resting heart rate, which of course we know is a dangerous thing. So you can have your tea, but it can be after you've eaten something, never on an empty stomach. Alright, thank you.
Thank you for that excellent, informative and inspiring talk. Entertaining talk. I now call upon Dr. Uma Chaturvedi to extend the vote of thanks.